Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for the story we're about to go through. So, we're continuing our run of covering Todd McFarlane's Amazing Spider Man run. I actually started in issue 314 and went up, and I decided to go back and cover the early ones. I do have a Todd McFarlane playlist that includes Hulks and Batman Year 2, his Spider Man run, his Amazing Spider Man, most of his run, and even the Invasion, the 1.5 issues that he did, have also covered that. So, quite a few things. We are after Amazing Spider-Man, and the Hulk concludes. All we'll really have is about 15 issues of Spawn. McFarlane really, as much great stuff as he has done, he really does not have a big artist. There's this Infinity ink stuff that I can share. I actually have all of those things, but that's about it. There's really not much that McFarlane has as an artist. He's got a lot as an inker. He inked a lot of issues, but Greg Capullo really drew out of it, and I really don't like Spawn. I don't care for Spawn. I shouldn't say I don't like him. He aesthetically cool, but I'm not a big fan of his writing, so I never really kept up with it. I have the early issues and then any covers he did. So maybe that's something we can do. Look at his, go throughout his covers. So, all right. So here we go. McFarlane does not ink all of this issue. I think he inks a page or two. So we're picking up where we left off. We got the Prowler here getting oh my god, I forgot his name. Not the Black Cat, obviously, because the Black Cat is a woman. The Black Fox. It was a black something. So here's the Prowler. Of course, we got McFarlane's big capes, which is a big trope of his. The Prowler is essentially Spawn before Spawn. So David Michelinie or Michelinie. I say Michelinie, but I hear Michelinie, so a lot. So and Todd McFarlane pencils, and then there are 7 inkers, including McFarlane. All right. So as we know, McFarlane Spider-Man is doing like a book tour. Peter Parker is, but so Spider-Man is signing autographs here, and this is supposed to be Glenn Close here. So he goes, I thought you were terrific in Fatal Attraction. So, uh, you can see he's signing everything as Spidey. He's kind of bummed because he wanted Peter Parker to get some fame and fortune instead of Spider Man. So, and of course, he's promoting that book of photos. I do like this. This is very old fashioned. This McFarlane still, when you look at his later issues, you see that he really has the McFarlane Spider Man figured out. He no longer does these round faces, and of course, his eyes are even bigger. So, and so we're basically getting a recap as Spider-Man is thinking here. So finally he's thinking of the Black Fox, and so he signs his last autograph and takes off here. Kind of stiff. I probably would blame one of the inkers, but McFarlane did the pencils, so who knows? But this, to compare to a lot of stuff we've seen McFarlane do, this drawing here looks pretty stiff. And man, oh man, when you see McFarlane inking himself, all of a sudden going back to inkers, it just doesn't look very good. So, all right, again, we got this cool cape here. Man, oh man. So, so the Prowler wants that chalice. And he says, "I need that chalice, even if I gotta go through you first." And the Black Fox says he's very practical. He says, "Be my guest," and Prowler just says, "Thanks." And he's about to take it, and here comes Spider-Man busting in. Better with Spider-Man. McFarlane is starting to, like I said, later McFarlane, and when you look at later McFarlane and early McFarlane, what a difference! This man grew leaps and bounds. So these two start to tussle. The Black Fox says, "Oh, they're ignoring me," and you can see him here grabbing the chalice, and then he's gonna leave a smoke bomb here. So So the Prowler also guesses that the guards are up because he hears some sounds here. And he says, "Well, I'll turn them over to you before going after the fox." And Prowler says, "No way, man. I gotta find the fox myself. That chalice is the key to keeping my wife out of prison." And of course, uh, he knows who she is. So, and the Prowler says, "You gotta trust me. You can't let Transcorp pull this off. I'm at the Algonquin Hotel. Meet me here tomorrow morning, and I'll explain everything," he says. So, and of course, the Prowler is Hobby Brown. Um, so, and Spider-Man says he knows he's been straight with him before, so he's got to make a decision fast. And of course, he lets them get away when the guards get there. So, all right, and Peter feels pretty bad again. This doesn't look very good. I mean, even Mary Jane, when you see her eyes, not really looking, it's just looking at the reader more than looking at Peter here. But um, he just says that he really had to let him get away because he's a good person. So and he Peter's like, "I imagine the press, this treasure stolen while Spider-Man signing autograph." And Mary Jane says, "Then your best bet is to get that chalice back. Too bad you can't do anything about it until tomorrow." So and so he's going into the that Algonquin kin. It's probably Spanish, so the U would be silent, but I still don't know what that is. So McFarlane kind of figuring out the webs here, but the buildings look terrible. But I do like this panel of kind of perspective through his own eyes. So McFarlane definitely was brilliant storyteller, and his compositions were solid. So he's about to go in there and sees the cleaning lady, and he says he was looking for Hobby Brown, and this guy's like, he's checked out, and beat it. So uh, and then Spider-Man feels used. He says, "Someone should pin a sign on my back saying sucker." So and so we're at the mansion of the Osgood where the Black Fox is currently staying. Again, I have a playlist, so feel free to check out the previous issue. So um, he says, "Oh, noon already. Keepers like this never used to tire me so, but at least with the profits from the Valencia chalice, my retirement on the French Riviera is assured. I had planned to fence the merchandise in America, but I hadn't counted on Spider-Man or that other maniac. I'll have to settle for a lower rate in the European market. I should have no trouble booking quick passage on a freighter without knowing custom rituals. But I will miss these lovely accommodations. Perhaps I'll take along a memento of my stay. Yes, surely Mrs. Hempstead didn't take all her jewelry. So, uh, once a thief, always a thief. So, all right. So, uh, Mary Jane asks Peter if he wants to go for a swim. He still feels like an idiot. Mary Jane says he really should just let it go. And she tells him the same thing. A lot of people should learn. You can't solve the world's problems. and they begin to have fun after she tells him that, because Peter kind of takes that to heart. So, all right. So, we're in Anaheim here, and Peter's signing all these autographs here. So, a lot of people in there. So, she's the publicist, I believe, if I remember. And she says, she she says the words Carson. Now I know a lot of people don't know who that is, but older readers will. And so he goes, "We going to Nevada?" No. Somebody else canceled at the last minute, so I was able to book you in his place. So she means Johnny Carson, who was the host of the Tonight Show. Um, and that's the Tonight Show is Jimmy Fallon's show now. So anyway, here he is here, and this would be Ed McMahon. Both of them have passed on. So after the show, the guy here says, "If we'd known of such a famous model as Mary Jane Watson Parker was backstage, we'd arrange a walk on. But we do appreciate them coming in short notice." So, and Pete's like, "It's ironic. I'm getting famous for Spidey picks, and I can't even make a good living selling them anymore. That's why I'm going back to school in the fall." So, um, then they see this commercial from the Transcorp, the future company. So of course we know that that'll probably play something. And so he says, "I gotta do something right now." So, um, Spider-Man is at their tower. There are no tall buildings like this in Los Angeles. I mean, there's tall buildings, but not that. Los Angeles is not like New York. If you take a look at the skyline, um, it's it doesn't quite look like that. But you know, all right. And so he's waiting and had a feeling on the Prowler. So of course, Spidey grabs him and he says, "I don't like being lied to, Brown." And he says, "I couldn't take chances, man. We're talking about my wife. What would you have done?" And he thinks, well, if it was Mary Jane. And so he takes off his mask and he says, "Talk." So, um, so out of all this, the most important thing is just this first paragraph here. So he says, Mindy, who's the wife, got a bookkeeping job at Transcorp in New York, but when the company was caught in some shady stock deal, they set Mindy up as a patsy with another set of books. So, um, so, um, anyway, I'll just read the whole thing here. "So we couldn't afford a hotshot lawyer, so I did what I could do on the streets as a prowler. I found that the only copy of the real books was shipped to the true head of Transcorp, some European dude named Hammer. That would be Justin Hammer. Everything was put on an information chip disguised as one of the jewels of the Valencia chalice. Since that chalice is part of the Goodwill shipment, nobody thinks to search it for contraband." So, love the screen tones being used. I wonder if this is Joseph Rubinstein here, who's putting the um, screen tones. So, if I don't get that chip and prove what really went on, I'm going to be talking to Mindy through wire mesh for the next 20 years. And Spider-Man asks him if he's got a plan. So, Prowler puts his mask back on. He says he's eavesdropping on Troy Fishburne, who's the head of the West office. So, he asks if he's going to stop him, and Spider-Man says, "No, I'm going to join you." Great panel here, absolutely. And so down they go again. Los Angeles is not quite as they have skyscrapers. It's just not like this. So, um, here we go. They're going to start to listen in. So Fishburne tells his men to double check everything, doesn't want to overlook. The guy's phone is ringing. Fishburne, you sure? Excellent. You know what to do. And then he speaks to his people. He says troubles are almost over. The thief has booked passage on a steamer departing Long Beach in 30 minutes. And since we've had hit teams stationed at every dock in the area since the robbery, the Valencia Chalice should be ours again in 35. Uh, so off they go, and Prowler's like hanging on with the web. So that's he's like, oh, you do this all the time. So all right. So here comes the Black Fox, and of course those people are there, and he throws the briefcase at them, and then throws some kind of light thing, something that would create like a flashbang. So, and there's the ship. Love this friggin' panel here. Absolutely amazing. A full moon. That is an awesome panel. So Spider-Man hears the gunshots, says they're too late, and Prowler says not yet, and then look over there. And so Spider-Man says he'll nab the fox, and Prowler says I'll teach those two-legged mutts how to heal. So off he goes, and he knocks this rail thing down and kind of traps them, and then hits them with like an energy beam of some sort. And so he's gonna go and try to help Spider-Man, and Spider-Man shows up to nab him, and then the Fox says, look, everyone is Spider-Man. And of course everyone's here wanting an autograph, and the Fox is gonna try to get away. He's like, wow, how clever he is. No one's gonna lay a hand on you. And of course here they hand. So Spider-Man nabs him, and he's like, oh, I can't go to jail. I'm old. It'll kill me. I'll never steal again. I swear on my mother's grave. And of course, Spider-Man, who is a sucker, says, man, at his age, jail could be dangerous. I do have the chalice. And he's like, I'm on my mother's grave. And he says, if I see you again, I'll mail it to the FBI piece by piece. And he says, you're a saint, says the Prowler. And the Spider-Man says, sir, I'm a sap. Yes, you are. And so he got everything he needed, and they were able to clear the Prowler's wife. So kind of wrap up everything. And of course, that this airplane is the Prowler, who says, man, promising not to steal my mother's grave. And then he says, my mom will get such a laugh when I tell her. So the old guy still has his mom. So, all right. And so that concludes our issue, Amazing Spider-Man 305 by Todd McFarlane, a whole bunch of inkers. And David Michelinie as the writer. Like and subscribe. I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.